That was the Aeroflot plane in Moscow that Edward Snowden planned to take to Havana, Cuba. But it took off today without him aboard. Good morning and welcome to the News Hub. I'm Rolf Winkler. Wall Street Journal's Paul Sonne is tracking the story of NSA whistleblower Snowden and joins us now. Paul, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So Cuba wasn't supposed to be his final destination. It was supposed to be en route to to Ecuador. Why Ecuador?
Well, what we know yesterday is Ecuador's foreign minister, he came out and said that the government of Ecuador had received an asylum request from Edward Snowden, and he's actually giving a press conference right now in Hanoi as we speak, where so far he's speaking about Snowden, and he hasn't said yet, as far as I know, whether they've granted that request for asylum.
Why would Edward Snowden choose Ecuador?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Why would Edward Snowden choose Ecuador as his destination?
Well, as you know, Julian Assange, who is the founder of WikiLeaks, he requested asylum from Ecuador. He received it last year. The only problem is that he has not been able to leave the Ecuador embassy in London for the past year because British authorities want to extradite him to Sweden, where he would face allegations of sexual assault charges, which he denies. But the reason, more broadly speaking, is that Ecuador's president, Rafael Correa, has sort of drummed up popular support within Ecuador, in part by thumbing his nose at the United States. So it plays well popularly, it fits with his politics, and they would probably be more predisposed to accepting the asylum request. Okay,
where is, he wasn't on that plane, so he's still just in the Moscow airport?
That's unclear. This is the big question that is on everyone's minds right now is where is Edward Snowden? What we know is yesterday WikiLeaks, the Hong Kong government initially announced officially in an official statement that he had left Hong Kong. And then WikiLeaks put out a statement saying he had arrived in Moscow on a flight from Hong Kong. And then later on that night, a spokeswoman for the Sheremetyevo airport in Moscow told us that he was located on the premises of the airport. There were reports that he was supposed to leave, Russian news reports citing sources in the airline that he was booked on a flight to Havana that was supposed to leave this afternoon, which did leave this afternoon, but we had a correspondent on that flight, and he was not on it. So the question is, where is he now? Was he ever indeed on the flight from Hong Kong? He wasn't ever seen by anyone that was in Moscow.
Could he take a private flight?
Yeah, I think it's possible for him to take a private flight. Julian Assange has been helping him organize this sort of flight for asylum. Has said that he may be able to travel on Ecuadorian documents. So it is possible. It's also possible that although we spoke to the airport spokeswoman, and she did say he was on the premises. So you would think that he was indeed on that flight yesterday. But stranger things have happened. That may not be the case, and in that case, maybe WikiLeaks announcing that he was arriving on a flight here was sort of a way to divert attention from whatever flight he was indeed traveling on.
Is WikiLeaks, now we know also that someone from WikiLeaks has been traveling with him as well. Has that really enabled him to stay one step ahead of the U.S. government as it chases him?
That again, WikiLeaks had said, yes, that they have a representative who is traveling with him. I think, yes, certainly WikiLeaks has come back into the fold here as a organization that has now helped Edward Snowden, arrange to get asylum. So it's definitely possible. I mean, it seems like he made his connection to Ecuador and came up with the idea in part because of Julian Assange, in part with the help of WikiLeaks. So yes, it may be that WikiLeaks is indeed helping him stay in front, one step ahead of the authorities.
Okay, Paul Sonne, thank you so much for joining us this morning.